So welcome everybody. My name is Millie Montanez. I am the membership manager here at the National Flute Association. We are so excited that all of you have decided to join us on this beautiful Tuesday evening to talk all about our upcoming convention in Portland, Oregon, which we are so excited about. And after a very successful convention in Atlanta, Georgia. So welcome and please take it off, Jenny Clark, our Executive Director.
Great, thanks, Millie. So I'm Jenny Clark, the Executive Director of the NFA. I'm really glad also to welcome you all to talk a little bit about the proposal application process. I want to unpack this for everyone so you know as much about the process as we do. So we're looking at our 2026 convention in Portland, Origins, Trailblazing, and Discovery. So I'm going to get us moving here. So what we're going to be talking about today, go through some introductions of the team who are here with us tonight, provide some data and details, review the guidelines, provide insights into the artistic vision for the convention, and provide some tips and insights to help applicants submit strong proposals and guide applicants through the application process. So as we mentioned, I'm the Executive Director, Jenny Clark. I'd like to introduce the NFA President, Jennifer Grimm.
Thank you, Jenny. Hi, everyone. I'm Jennifer Grimm. I'm the current president of the NFA. In my past NFA life, I was a program chair as well. So I've been through this process and I'm happy to be here to answer any questions. Generally speaking about the process, we'll hear from the program chair specifically, but I'm just happy to see so much interest in today's session. So thank you very much for being here.
Thanks, Jen. Membership Manager Millie.
Hi, everybody. Oh, sorry. I just want to say hi. I'm going through the proposal system today, so if you have any questions, I will have my information in terms of technical things. So
perfect. And our 2026 program chair, Daniel Pardo. And Daniel will be speaking about his vision for the convention a little bit later in our program. Hey, Daniel.
Hello, everyone. It is going to be great to talk to you about today's proposal. So I think I'll just wait for my turn.
Perfect. Okay, so here's a little bit of number crunching, some data that we've collected. So this is to do with the number of proposals that we've received and how we look at how many were actually accepted and selected for the convention. So in 2023 in Phoenix, we had 413 proposals that were submitted and 218 were selected. That's 53%. In San Antonio, that's 2024, we had more proposals. We had 512 proposals and 132 were selected. So that was more proposals, but not as many were selected, 25%. And in the convention that we just completed in Atlanta, we had 513 proposals that were submitted and 228 were selected. So that's 44%. So it tends to vary every year in terms of the number that we receive and the number that actually selected based on space and the depth with which the program chair wants to program the convention. So for many sessions, only a portion of the proposal is accepted. So concerts frequently incorporate segments from more than one proposal. The deadline for submissions is Wednesday, October the 1st at 11:59 Central Time. Proposals are submitted through the member portal on the NFA website, nfaonline.org. And Millie's going to go through all this with us, how you actually submit a proposal. But late submissions will not be accepted. That's a very firm deadline. So recommend that you read the guidelines on our website, nfaonline.org/proposals. And you need to be an NFA member in order to apply. So if you're not an NFA member, go ahead and become a member or renew your membership. You have to be a current member. And if you have any difficulties with that, contact Millie. Her email address is mharrod@nfaonline.org. So the focus of your proposal may be in any of the following categories: solo performance, performing alone with a keyboard or with a keyboard or electronics or another instrument played by one musician. Workshops, poster presentations. We haven't done those for quite a few years, so we'll be talking a little bit more about what that entails. Chamber performance, which is up to 5 performers. That could be mixed instruments. Panel, lecture or lecture recital, sight reading session, or warm-up session. Each NFA member may submit up to 3 proposals. Each must be in a different category, those categories we just explored. NFA committees may submit up to 5 proposals. Committee proposals must further the mission and goals of the committee submitting the proposal. Committee proposals must be fully detailed with all the programmatic information and will be reviewed with the same criteria as other proposals. Proposals from committees for performances are not usually accepted and usually more interested in panels, workshops, or that kind of exploration sort of sessions. In addition to proposals, we have our I Want You campaign, which is we would like to get in touch with flutists who are currently serving or formerly served in the US Armed Forces. Our goal is to form the NFA's largest military flute ensemble ever. So if you're interested in that, we very much hope that you will be, contact danielpardo.nfa@gmail.com or Ana Paulo Rincones at .nfa@gmail.com. That's our program chair team. Love to hear from you. So the Flute Ensemble Festival, which can bring quite a number of flute ensembles to the convention. This year, I think there were 67. Flute Ensemble Festival activities have a separate application process, and we're not reviewing that today. The deadline for Flute Ensemble Festival applications is November 15th. A flute ensemble is considered a group of 6 or more flutists. So we have 1 flutist with other musicians. We up to 5 is chamber, and 6 or more is a flute choir, part of the Flute Ensemble Festival. So now I'd like to introduce Program Chair Daniel Pardo to introduce the themes and focus of the convention and unpack a little bit more of his ideas on origins, celebrating, trailblazing, and discovery.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Jenny, and hello, everyone. As Jenny just mentioned, the theme is origins, celebrating trailblazing and discovery. So this is going to be a substantial amount of history, a history component to proposals and to programs. And so let me see, according to the list that we have right now on the website, we have first, performances that explore musical origins, innovation, or cultural fusion. Imagine ragtime, first works played in the boom system. So for this one in particular, what matters is that in the justification, it will help us to know why this is celebrating origins. And I would highly encourage you as a personal favor to perhaps not use too much AI into this so that we can have your true words on how this is either about a trailblazing composer or celebrating a trailblazing flutist and how it really fits into the theme. So let me see. One of them, it says music for flute with a non-Western accompanying instrument. So although we are celebrating origins and so the history aspect of it, it's important that we continue with the exploration. So that's why we're also celebrating trailblazing. So if it's not in the past, but it's something that is definitely taking us further in the field of flute and music in general, then that is also a qualifying factor. Let's see, the next one, lectures and panels that highlight flute pioneers, American flute history, or global influences. So the conference will more than likely be divided into three major segments, covering in one day the US, on the second day the Americas, and on the third day the world. And so with that in mind, we're not just fixed to make it in the US, but we will spend a significant amount of time celebrating the evolution of the flute in the US because we're celebrating the semi-quincentennial of the United States next year. Let's see, let's keep going. Lectures on influences. Influences that come from European, African, Asian, or South America. This is involving musical influences, so perhaps composition practices or composers that come from elsewhere, music styles that may come from somewhere else. So imagine choro from Brazil or native music from Hungary. So that would be great. But also, this includes world flutes as well. So not just our concert flute, the traditional thing that we do, but we also want to welcome world flutes, world music, and because it has always influenced our classical music. So we want to celebrate that. Let me see, what else? Creative projects that push the boundaries. So anything new that we haven't seen yet, well, we want to encourage that because that is what Portland is all about, is exploring, is thinking outside of the box and going beyond. Multidisciplinary collaborations. This is an interesting one because I think we can all agree that music is heading in that direction, collaboration with other art forms. But I would ask you that in your description, you clarify your setups and that it is hopefully something practical and doable. By that, I mean that if the project requires 3 screens and 10 dancers and a light show, that may not really work well because we are limited with what we have. So we will have, in all rooms, we will have a mixer that is available to plug in. Like it comes with 1 microphone, 2 speakers. So it's like the usual basic setup. We will have 3 video screens total for the whole convention. So it's just for things to think about. The simpler the setup will make it easier for us to be able to select it. Also in terms of setting up and tearing down, because we only have like 30 minutes or so in between events, sometimes 1 hour, but we needed to make it as quick as possible. So if the proposal that you are presenting is artistically interesting, but also logistically feasible, then that would also make it so much easier to be selected. Let me continue. Explorations, multidisciplinary. Okay. Then we have innovative research, teaching methods, or collaborative projects that reimagine flute configurations and repertoire. We are seeing an increase in repertoire that comes from other cultures, like our Western flute playing with a Chinese ensemble, or Irish flute that is now like we're playing the effects of the Irish flute in with our instrument. So that type of repertoire is also welcome. As Jenny started mentioning, we're going to have the call to proposals will include posters. And this is for a physical place that we will have in the convention center that we're going to call the Trailblazer Hall. And so this will be a dedicated area where we're going to showcase these posters. The main topic, to make it somewhat simple, and since we have not done this in a number of years, I think it's best if we focus our presentations in 2 categories. One would be trailblazers. So it can be people in the US according to our history. So if we get enough of these presentations, we can divide them into the regions of the US, or maybe the western side, the eastern side, south. So we can come up with this depending on the proposals that we get. And also, we're going to welcome the research that you may be working on or recently have worked on, such as dissertations, thesis, so you can have an outlet, a research outlet in a conference. So I think that's going to be exciting, and we'll see what happens with these submissions. In reference to the I Want To campaign, this is going to be part of the form that is going to be available and due on October the 1st. We would like to collect, and I know this is going to take quite a bit of effort. It's not going to be just this submission form, but we will try to collect as many names as possible, and also the dates of service. And there's going to be a committee in place that is specifically military people that are active and retire, so that we can channel all this information. And the idea is to make some of these posters so we can have a large presentation of all the names according to branch and celebrate our history. And at the same time, we're going to try to form the largest and the most massive military flute ensemble the NFA has ever seen, so that we can have something to celebrate, because it is amazing the amount of flutists in the orchestral world, in universities, I mean, all works of life that we may not reference with the military, but they actually participated in it. And so we would like to celebrate this part of our flute world. I believe that is my portion.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Daniel. That's really, really helpful and very comprehensive. So now I'm the one that deals with the practicalities around here. So here's a few tips and insights that we have from previous program chairs. And I'd actually like to introduce Jen again, who, as mentioned, was a program chair in the past, to share some of her experiences of that whole process of putting the artistic elements of the convention together.
Great, thanks, Jenny. It was really wonderful to hear Daniel's descriptions of the events, and it kind of, it might help you give some clarity to what you might want to present. And when you're getting ready to submit your proposals, I think a couple of things might be helpful just to keep in mind. Daniel and his assistant, Ana Paola, they will be, as you noted, probably receiving 500 or more proposals. And that's a lot of work for two people and the proposal committee to do. And so as much clarity and detail and specificity that you can provide, it will help them make it easier for them to say yes to you. So from my experience, I received a lot of really wonderful ideas for proposals, but they were maybe not quite complete. They wanted to present a recital based on a certain theme, but they didn't have all of the pieces in place. They didn't have all the titles of the music. They didn't provide examples for each of the pieces or each of the performers. And so the more that you can get every single aspect of your proposal as detailed as possible, this will give you a leg up in terms of being easier to read and just being more likely to be accepted. When you do submit recordings, we'll get into this exactly. If you're submitting a recording, or if you want to give a performance, if you want to propose a performance, you must submit a recording of yourself performing that piece. Now, in the case of a world premiere, if the piece hasn't been written yet, that is understandable that you might not be able to record that piece ahead of time, but you have to submit a recording of yourself playing, as well as a recording of a piece that composer has written, so that Daniel has an idea of what that piece may sound like and figure out whether it fits in a certain theme or not. So being as clear as possible really, really, really helps with the performance proposals. If you are submitting, maybe if you want to do a workshop or put up together a panel presentation, all those ideas are really great too. Be as clear as you possibly can, be as detailed. If you want to give a workshop, also submit a PDF of your outline of your presentation. not just a description of it. We want to know as many details as possible. And anything that you do in wanting to propose, try to relate it back to Daniel's theme. You know, just like we have every time we have to do some sort of assignment in school, we have to always like make sure it all applies to whatever our topic sentence is, our thesis statement, right? Our thesis statement is origins, celebrating, trailblazing, right? That is our thesis statement. So everything that you propose, you know, the more likely it'll get accepted is if it really pays attention to Daniel's theme. And, you know, those are some sort of creative ways just to be as clear. And also just if you put yourself in the mind, in the head, in the space of the program chairs, just with the amount of work that they are going to have to do, try to make it as easy as possible for them by stating everything as clearly as possible and being as thorough as you possibly can. I know it's like 11 months away or 10 months away, but you know, be as clear as you can right now. Try to record the piece you're wanting to perform right now so that Daniel can be very convinced and very confident in selecting it for the convention. So those are just some ideas. And I'm also able to answer any questions later on as well.
Wonderful, thank you. So a couple of other comments that have been passed along to me over the years is clearly state in the first sentence what you want to do. The readers don't want to have to read 3 paragraphs before they find out exactly what your idea is. So start off with that. We covered some of these things already, but one thing is accurate timings are very important because we're putting together the concerts with a number of different pieces, and we really have to have accurate timing. So once you've made your recording, that's a really good way of knowing the exact timing. And provide complete titles and composer information. So even if there's a piece that you all know really well and you have a short form for saying what it is, just put the whole title, because that's what we're going to use. That's what we would use in the repertoire guide if it's selected. So we want the complete, accurate information right from the start. A few more tips here. Remember again that the programs are often stitched together from different proposals. Information about music that is not common in the repertoire is helpful. Include information about the composer and the piece, and any context, such as if it was written in response to a certain event or something that happened in the world or a celebration of some kind. Include that information. If you're proposing a project that involves a new commissioned work, the program chair would like to hear a sample of the composer's work if you don't have a recording of the piece because it isn't completed yet. As we mentioned, your work sample is very important. It's a very important component. So make sure you read the guidelines carefully and submit your best sample. And again, start early and create your strongest work, the sample of your strongest work. If your project has technical requirements, be sure to add the details in the equipment section of the proposal. That's really important. And note that the NFA does not provide pianists for proposal sessions. You would need to provide your own pianist, and we often have a list of pianists who are going to be available who are not the NFA pianist who might be able to work with you on that. So strategies, again, start early. The application process was revised last year. So if you've applied previously but not last year, you'll find it's a little different. There is one form for all the proposal segments. So again, start early so that you can see that it's a little bit different to how it was in the past. Prepare all your materials offline before you start filling in the form, because it doesn't save as you go. And Millie's going to do a step-by-step process so that you'll be able to see how that works. So if you're working with collaborators, start working early, gather all the bios and materials as early as possible so that you can have a really complete, well-proofread application. Ask a friend or colleague to help you with that and read through the description for clarity. When you're finished, you're going to click on the Save button, which is how you submit your proposal when everything's complete. And you'll receive a copy of your proposal in a confirmation email. And we recommend that you save that somewhere safe so that you know exactly what you said you would do. All proposals will be reviewed by a committee of reviewers in addition to the program chair and the assistant program chair. And we have a number of tools on our website that will help you in your application process. We have a PDF guide to the online application, a video guide Millie has made, and sample proposal application form, which is just a sample. You do have to apply through the portal, the member portal on the website. So with that said, I'm going to now hand over to Millie, who's going to guide us through the application process, followed by final thoughts and questions.
Yes, thank you, Jenny. I'm going to screen share what the application looks like and go through all the fields and give you some tips and tricks and ask some things of you that will help us, me, everybody in the end, make this much smoother process because it is quite a process. Okay. Can you all see? Yes. Okay. So first, of course, go to our website, nfaonline.org. The right-hand corner, you're going to log in. If this is your first time, you're not a member, you can also make an account. If you have any issues making an account, renewing your membership, just let me know. I am happy to help you. So you're going to log into your account. Give it a second. Also, a tip, if you are not a member or membership is not active, will not show up at all for you. So if it's not showing up, I'll show you where here in a second, then that most likely means that your membership is not reading as active or you're not a member. So I can also help you with that. So here is what your portal looks like. A lot of you may already be familiar. Under events and proposals, you're going to hit that. Then 2026 convention proposal application, you're going to hit that once again. And this will take you to the application. So as Jenny mentioned, but I want to really reiterate this, please have all of your fields for your application ready to go. Once you're ready, we'll do it in a Word doc, in a Google Doc. This is why we have a sample of this on our website. Do it somewhere else, and then when you're ready to go into the form to submit it because there's no saving and going back, unfortunately. So make sure, again, have the application fields ready to enter before you begin. If you are just idling for a while, you will get a pop-up and say, you will be timed out in 10 minutes. So that's also a possibility, just letting you know. So make sure that you're ready to go with all your fields, and make sure that all of the fields with the asterisks they're required. Not everything fields is required, but the ones that have the asterisks are. So it won't let you submit if you have not filled out any of those fields, all the fields. I've linked our website with the details on here. Again, if you have any sort of, especially technical issues, it's not letting you submit, you don't see the form, you're not sure or you want to double check that you actually did receive it, please email me. I'm happy to help you. If you have any specific ADA requests, that is being handled by Jenny Clark, and her email is here. Okay, personal information, please put your name, and I know some of you are doing a group, so we're gonna put Millie's group. I'm gonna quickly do like a mock filling out here. Please put whoever the member is that's submitting for your group, or if it's yourself. Your email, please make sure that you do not put a .edu email address. We are having a lot of issues with communicating. A lot of universities are blocking your emails from us. So please put your personal email address. I'm gonna put mine. I see that there might be questions. I will come to the questions at the end. Okay, your city, state, country. Fun fact, we had 38 countries represented at last year's convention, and we hope to have the same number this year. It makes for a really interesting and dynamic event. Okay. Phone number. Okay, now we get to your title of your event. So I'm gonna put Millie's event. And again, this can be for any of the categories. Please select the categories that applies to your session, which is all the ones that we talked about. If you don't see yours, please hit other, and you will have a field. You have a field here to select what your other is. Okay, so proposal description, please make sure this is between 250 words and 500 words. Again, the program chairs have a lot of proposals, and making it as concise as possible is going to be much easier for them to go through everything. Also, if you hover over these boxes, there's some additional information you might want to read that I've added in there. Then you please add a program book description that's only 35 words. That's going to go in the program book. Again, we have sometimes over 200 events at the convention, so we need the description to be very concise. All right. Sometimes if you have followed the convention online, we do live stream some events. It is not guaranteed that your event is going to be live streamed. It is up to there's a lot of factors as to how we pick what event gets live streamed, but we do ask you if you grant permission for your event to be live streamed or not. If you're submitting behalf of a committee, please type in your committee name in this field. And then, of course, this year we've added, if you are previously served in the armed forces or you're an active duty military member, please put that in here. So we're trying to gather that information, and we will follow up with you with more information later. All right, event categories. These are similar to the ones that we've had in the past. So you can multi-select what event best represents, your category. So I'm just gonna click sound as an example. So please read through these. We do have in other fields for you to fill in. All right, so as you can said, you're not required to fill out an entire, hour-long recital. If you have a piece or a couple of pieces that really you think, represent that trailblazing spirit that we're going for this year, you can do that. You can submit that. So please check here if you understand that, your proposal might not fully be accepted. Please put the timing for your entire proposal, and it is very, very important for us to know how long it's going to take for you to set up, especially if you have screens or if you have an electronic component that might take you longer than just 5 minutes to get a music stand. We really, really need to know that for programming reasons, because we have back-to-back-to-back events in these rooms. So next, we start getting into your actual pieces that you will be programming. So make sure you have all of this information for all of your pieces that you're wanting to submit. Title, date of composition, composer first name, composer last name, composer's dates, arrangers, is this work a world premiere, your exact timing of the work, your publisher, is this work currently in print, and all of the movements that you will be performing. After that, this is a little tweak that we've made on the application. So it looks a little bit different if you proposed last year. So we've added the fields to put in the links to the recordings for that piece below that now. So everything's it's more concise. It should be easier for you. So please, when you are submitting, we are only accepting links, so you can't upload like an MP3 or a video file. It has to be through a working link. Make sure that the link is open access, because the program chairs are going to need to open that for you to review your materials. So make sure that you double check that your links are available to view. And you have the option in here to submit up to 5 works. Okay, so we're going to scroll past all of this. Same questions for all 5 pieces. We've also added this additional supporting materials field. So let's say you have a PowerPoint presentation or a pamphlet, or maybe a lot of people do pieces with with artwork that's inspired by an artwork or goes with an electronic track, you can also include that here as an additional materials that might help you. All right. We're going to keep going. Your bio, make sure that your bio is 500 characters or less. We do publish all bios and it gets to be really, really, really long. So make sure that it is that length. All right. And then whoever else is performing with you, we need their name, their instrument, and their email address. And their bios. All right. Equipment requests. So we have a lot of details in here about what we can and cannot provide. You can read that mixers, speakers, podiums, microphones. We can do some of these basics, but again, make sure that you are really taking into consideration your application and how complex it may or may not be, because we might not have all of the capabilities to be able to provide that for you in the rooms. So please check here if you agree to this. And then in addition to that, we do not provide iPads or laptops for you to be able to present. Please bring that. You are responsible for that. We also cannot guarantee how well the Wi-Fi is going to be in the convention center or specifically in your room. It's been hit and miss over the years, so we really encourage you to have a backup option to download your presentation if you're doing a PowerPoint, for example. Yeah, so make sure that you take that into consideration as you're building your program. Oh, additionally, yes, we do not offer on-site printing. That's always a question. Typically, there's always FedEx or Staples option nearby or in the hotel, but we at NFA cannot print anything for you on site, unfortunately, because sometimes we have over 250 proposals, and we just can't do that for 250 people. Please put if you are in need of any type of microphone setup and exactly what you need. If you need a projector or screen. Yes. And then any other equipment requests that you may have. So once everything that is required to fill out is filled out, this little preview button here will go from gray to blue. That means you're going to be able to move forward. So once you're ready to go, hit preview. I'm going to do now. And this is it's going to give you a preview of everything that you filled in. You can go back to edit. But again, I would highly, highly, highly encourage you to make sure that all your fields are ready to go once you're ready to submit. So everything looks to me. So we're going to hit save. I know it's a little strange. I wish I could change this to submit, but save is what it is. This is the submit button. So you're going to hit save. And give it a second. It's going to say your proposal is now submitted. So go home. You will have received I'm going to start sharing here. You will have received a confirmation email with all of the fields that you filled out, like a copy of those fields in the email. If you did not receive this email immediately after you submit, please check your junk mail. And if you still didn't receive it, please email me, and I can look on the back end to see if it actually went through, if there was an issue. I can check that for you. And I would ask you to please do this early. I do always stay up until midnight, 1 a.m. on October 1st helping folks, because I want to do that and I'm there for that. But it's going to be easier for me to get to your email 5 days before the deadline than the night before. I will get to it, I promise, but it's going to take me a while because there's lots of people who wait last minute. And so I urge you to please do it early. You have all the information ready on the website. So, but if you have any questions, please let me know. If you have specific programming questions, I would ask that to Daniel. But any technical questions, please let me know, and I'm happy to help you.